One of the biggest challenges we face when dealing with our DNA test results is staying organized. There's just so much information. How do we keep track of it all? AncestryDNA has a fantastic tool for helping us organize our DNA matches. I call it simply the DOT tool. So let's get started. I'm Diahan Southard, your DNA guide, and this is 5 minutes with your DNA. The first concept we need to understand before we can talk about AncestryDNA's DOT system is this idea that your entire DNA match list can be broken up into different numbers of groups. So if you think about your great-grandparents, you have 4 great-grandparent couples. So theoretically, as long as those couples aren't related to each other in any way, we should be able to divide your entire DNA match list up into these 4 groups, one that represents each of these 4 great-grandparent couples. We can push that back a generation if we want to, and we could divide up your entire match list into 8 groups. Or if we wanted to go even farther, we could divide up your DNA match list into even 16 groups. This is the whole premise, really, behind the DOT system at AncestryDNA, at least the way I use the DOT system at AncestryDNA. Which brings me to a very important point. There is no right way to use this DOT system. And in fact, when it first came out, I was determined to find this right way so I could tell you what it was, and I tried a bunch of different things, and they all worked. So using the DOT system is really about defining your question, understanding what you want to get out of your DNA match list, but I think I found a fairly general approach that will apply to most of you and help most of you organize your matches into a list that's easily accessible, making it much easier for you to then answer a question you might have in your genealogy. So again, the DOT system is based on this idea that each ancestral couple is a unit, right? Because for most of us, our ancestors are coming from a couple, and that's kind of biology, right? It takes 2 to tango, so to speak. So each couple in your DNA match list is going to get a DOT color. So just assign the colors. I like to do it this way, like you see it on the screen, where all of the paternal side ancestors are in the cool colors, and all of the maternal side ancestors are in the warm colors. I just feel like it's more aesthetically pleasing and just easier to keep track of. So let's take a look at our 2 times great-grandparents, for example. These 2 times great-grandparents should make me third cousins, right? Our third cousins go back to these 2 times great-grandparent couples. So theoretically, if you were to take all of the third cousins in your AncestryDNA match list, each of them should fit into one of these groups. Remember, that's the idea behind the dots, is that it's helping us divide our match list into a distinct number of groups. So what you want to do is you want to name all of your groups. I like to name them with the surnames of the 2 individuals in the couple. So you can see some examples of my family here. We've got Hazelwood Dance, Hazelwood Lehorn, Griggs Tilton. These are all couples in my family tree. So they get a name and they get a DOT color. Next, I use the through lines tool, and I have another video on YouTube here about through lines if you want to go check out that video first. But what you're doing with the through lines tool is you're identifying a known DNA match. So in this case, my known DNA match is MJ. Through lines has helped me find him, and he's a descendant of my ancestor Thomas Hazelwood. So that means all of the DNA that I'm sharing with MJ came from Thomas and his wife. So that's a really important point, that any cousin that you share DNA with, that DNA came from an ancestral couple, right? So what you want to do is you'll click on MJ and you'll assign MJ a color, a DOT, that corresponds to that particular ancestral couple. You do that by clicking on that Add Edit Groups button when you click on a DNA match. You can also do that from the main DNA match page as well. So I click on Add Edit Groups, and then I add MJ to the Hazelwood Dance group, because that's our common ancestral couple, our earliest common ancestral couple. Sometimes we call that our MRCA, our most recent common ancestor. Now, the real magic of this whole system is in a tool called Shared Matches. So I'm still in MJ's profile, and I've switched from the tree view, which is the default, to this shared matches view. In the shared matches view, I'm able to see individuals who are sharing DNA with me and with MJ. Theoretically, all of the people on this list are related to the Hazelwood dance group, just like MJ. Now, they might not all be descendants of this couple. They might be descendants through only Hazelwood or only dance. But I know just because they're sharing DNA with me and MJ, they should be related to this couple in some way, which means I can give them a dot. So each of these people on this shared matches list, no matter if I know their relationship to me or I don't, no matter if they have no tree at all, no matter if they've never answered an email, I know something about them and I can organize them into a match group just by nature of the fact that they're matching with MJ. So everybody on the shared matches list gets a blue dot. So that's the whole of the dot system, but it's so powerful and I encourage you to start using it right away. And here's how I think you should start using it. First, decide which color dots are going to correspond to which ancestors and name them. Second, use through lines to find known descendants of your ancestors. Give them dots. Then use the shared matches tool to begin assigning dots to even matches you don't know your relationship to. This process will help you divide your entire match list into a distinct number of groups and help you be able to focus on just the DNA matches that are going to help you the very most in whatever genealogy problem you're facing. Good luck, and let me know how it goes.